Hello there, everyone. Welcome to Brew Jackets. It's a fun Blue Jackets themed podcast. My name is Kevin, and joining me, tonight is my co-host Hefty Duck. And we, as always invite people to come on the show. But hey, if they come, that's okay. If not, there's always next time. On today's show, we're going to be doing a Jack Greaves report card. It's his turn. How did he do? We're going to talk about that. I'm going to show off a fun hockey video, hockey jersey concepts to share, and so much more. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. Hope everyone has had a good week. School's out for a lot of people. The weather's been great here in central/northeast Ohio. It's been a fun time. I've been all over Ohio this last few weeks, last few months, and can't wait to explore some more. Anyway, thanks for joining us tonight, as always. Big shout out to our audio listeners. You guys are making it rain over there. If you would like to listen to us instead of watch us, check us out anywhere you can find podcasts. Spotify, YouTube, Google, Apple. Check us out. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe wherever you're watching from. If you're watching from Twitter, check us out on YouTube. If you're watching us from YouTube, check us out on Twitter. I keep saying I feel like I'm forgetting something super obvious right now. But been a pretty fun week. Oh yeah, I know what I'm forgetting. We don't do any sponsors or anything like that. I am the sole sponsor of the show. Check me out online. You can see some of my artwork at Lance Schrock Tattoos on Instagram. You can just check me out on Twitter at Lance Schrock. You can see it spelled below. SCHROCK. Everyone forgets the C. I understand. I get it. I'm kind of forgetting about stuff. Real quick, I guess we'll. All right, take it away. I'll talk about this in a bit.
All right. Well, as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would be greatly appreciated. Like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And, as always, you gotta, right here. Don't forget to check out Uni Blue Soldiers. Check out Uni Blue Soldiers. It's a fun Blue Jackets themed group that I run. We do a lot of fun stuff like marches and so much more. So, check out Uni Blue Soldiers. So that's what I got for now. Hefty Duck, he can get in here, talk about what he wanted to talk about, and then I have some stuff to say, and then we'll get to Greaves report card.
Yeah, I was just going to start with something pretty inconsequential, and we'll talk a little bit more about it right before we talk about Jet Greaves, but inconsequential. I mean, it's whatever. This is the biggest thing outside the NHL happening this last few weeks. Yesterday, Sunday, May 30th, was the championship gold medal game for the IIHF World Champion Series in Switzerland this year. And of all teams, the two teams in the finals, if at the very beginning of this you'd asked me who it was going to be, I would have said, I don't know, maybe Sweden.
Oh boy. Oh no, the mic. Oh no, Hefty Duck's mic's not working. He was talking and nothing was coming out of the mic. Hefty Duck was talking and nothing was coming out of the mic. That is not good. That is not good.
Mic check.
All right, there we go. We're back in. Let's go.
Yeah, I was just muted. But yeah, so you probably would have. I don't know how much of that you heard, but if you were at the very beginning of the tournament, if you were gonna say who's in the finals, there's probably gonna be one of four teams. Sweden, Finland, United States, Canada. Those are generally the four. Since Russia's not been competing, those are the four biggest names in most recent years. The eight biggest names being probably the eight that were there. Switzerland knocked Sweden out in the quarterfinals. Norway knocked Latvia out. Canada knocked out the United States 4-0. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we talk about Jet Greaves. Finland knocked out Czechia 4-1. So the semifinal round was Switzerland versus Norway. They won 6-0. Decided obviously who was the better team there. And then the semifinal was Canada versus Finland, and Finland came out on top 4-2. And the bronze medal game was Norway against Canada, and Norway came out in overtime to win that one 3-2. We'll talk about that one more. All the Canadian games we'll talk about a little bit more at some point. Then the gold medal game that was yesterday was Switzerland versus Finland, and it was as far as hockey goes, is it really exciting when no one scores? No, but yes, because you like the obvious. It's like a chess game at that point, and for the average casual viewer, it's like, dude, what the fucking just score. And I get that. I mean, because I'm there sometimes. I like to just see a game played out, but sometimes some of the most interesting games can be close because it went 0-0 all the way to overtime. And personally, I don't know. I feel like we could talk about this tournament format a lot. I don't think we'll spend a lot of time on it just because it's not like the biggest. It's not like it's the Olympics. It's a kind of a shitty format in my opinion. Doesn't really matter. I think like the person the team that was going to win should have won by the end of it. Finland won.
Right.
Finland's the champion of this. And so for third Switzerland, that means Switzerland got second, and the third place team was Norway because they beat out Canada. So just a little bit of news there from that end. There were 3 players in it. I'm going to not mention Jet Greaves because we'll talk about him in detail here in just a little bit. I have all the info though on the other guys. So stats from Worlds. Mathieu Olivier played for the United States. He played 8 games. He was 2-3-5, so 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points, 21 shots on goal, averaged about 14 minutes, 56 seconds on the ice. So then Dent Matejchuk, he had 10 games played. The Canada got to play a few more games. He was also 2-3-5, so 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 points, with only 9 shots on goal. He's a defenseman, but an average time of 11:24. So he was not one of the top pairing defensemen for sure. And then I'll talk about Jet Greaves' stats here just really briefly. 8 games played, 6 wins, 2 losses, 1.88 goals against average with a .920 save percentage, which is pretty damn good. We'll get more into that here soon. Anyway, that's your IIHF World Championship Switzerland update. It's over. I feel like it's a bigger deal. Is it a bigger deal in Europe because it's in Europe, or do you think that if it was in the United States, it would be a bigger deal? I feel like not as many people would go if it was in the United States, honestly.
Okay, so I think it just comes down to this, is that culturally, if you're in America, hockey is, your favorite hockey team, like, you like Minnesota, you like the Blackhawks, you like the Blue Jackets, and you watch those games, and then Stanley Cup playoff games, you watch that, and you just NHL hockey. Like, that's the big thing. If you're in America, to you, generally speaking, that's hockey. And then maybe, like you watch like the Olympics or something like that, which is cool. But like, other than that, like, no, like this, you don't really pay attention to that because there's a Twitter page on Twitter that's a Canadian, but like, he's in Ohio. Interesting dynamic, but like he lives in Canada, but he's like an Ohio sports guy because he follows me because like I see him post stuff about like the Bengals and like the Blue Jackets.
Oh, it's
But
really
then
not that far away. It's right across the lake.
right, so like and then of course when Canada beat America and the World Hockey Championship, he's like running his mouth and like, oh, where's all the Americans saying that like we own this game and stuff like that, and posted the score of like Canada beating America. And it's like, okay, good for you. I'll give you that you beat them, but it's like you beat them in the tournament that really doesn't matter to people that much. Like in the tournament that matters to people was the Olympics. And
where
you
they sent
couldn't
the best of the best that they possibly could get their hands on. It's not like you didn't make
yes, best of best Olympics. You know,
and like
Canada.
Zach Wentz wasn't playing for the United States, obviously.
No. But
That
like
one guy alone probably could have made a big difference. But
yeah, oh god, yeah, because USA just kept sent like their D team over there, but that's besides the point. But like you got this Canada guy who's, oh, where's the American fans now? And it's like, okay, well,
they're watching the Stanley Cup.
Well, there's that. You're watching the Stanley Cup, but also it's like you beat us in like the one game, the one tournament that really doesn't matter that much. When you couldn't get it, but in the Olympics that matters to people more, you couldn't get it done. You had 3 tries. Men's hockey, you failed. Women's hockey, you failed. And then paraplegic hockey, you failed. You went over 3, and the tournament that mattered the most, you couldn't get it done. And here you are, like, yeah, we beat you, America. Where are you now? We got you in the world championship. And it's like, okay, cool. I'll give you that you beat us, but it's like you beat us in the world. It's like you wanted real bragging rights. You should have beat us in, the Olympics, whether that be men's, women's, or paraplegic hockey, stuff that actually matters in the Olympics. But you couldn't do that. So, okay, so there's that. And then also, I just think that culturally, like these European countries, like because they don't have NHL over there, that they're more invested into their, national teams, so that they're more rabid fan base, and so they get more invested into that, so that when they do get into these tournaments like Olympics and then like the World Hockey Championship and all this other sort of stuff, it's more important to them. So so there's that. So it just, and it's a timing thing because it's like, well, it's like in the middle of May, and like right now it's like if you're watching hockey, it's like, no, playoffs, like Stanley Cup playoffs. So there's that. And guys are generally speaking say no to this if they get asked. It's like, I just played a long season and I'm tired, or I'm hurt. I want to spend time with my family. I want to get rest up for next season. That's the last thing I want to do. It's, that sort of thing. So that's just what it is. That's just what it is. I mean, it's still cool if like you go there and you have fun and you win games and you get a medal there. It's still cool. It's just not the same feeling as like the Olympics or just playoff hockey in general. It's just like that's where people's minds are at. It's like if I'm going to watch hockey in like May, it's like, I wonder what's going on with the Stanley Cup playoffs, and not that, but that's just besides the point.
Yeah, no, I was, just wanting an opinion on that because I personally think I agree with a lot of that. Each country seems to have its own like small league too. There's like the Swiss league. There's Great Britain has its own league. they were represented here in this Worlds. We don't really see them as often on the world stage in hockey, but it's becoming more and more of a thing. Czechia, they just had a record run with the what was it, under 18s youth team, something like that, or in Latvia, they made it to the quarterfinals here in this one. Some of these smaller countries are gonna start being a lot more pains in the asses here
Yeah.
on the world stage soon too.
So, last thing I'd like to say before we get on to the Jet Greaves report card is that June 30th, so this upcoming June 30th, you can go to Polaris Mall and get an autograph from Charlie Coyle, which is cool. The Blue Jackets posted that today, so that's cool. No pictures, though. Yeah, that for me personally, I'd rather have a picture because I'll take an autograph, but I'd rather have a picture if I had to pick because I could be like, hey, look, cool, here, look, I'm with Charlie Coyle, or I'm with Luca Del Belbaluz or Mikel Putti or David Savard or whatnot, sort of thing. Or I'm with that, look, I'm with Adam Fantilli or Zach Renzi or whatnot, sort of thing. But autograph's still cool. So June 20th, if you're looking for something fun to do, go to Polaris Mall and get an autograph from Charlie Coyle at the Blue Jackets store at Polaris Mall.
That's
It's a
pretty
good
cool.
mall. It's a good mall. I like going to Polaris Mall when I'm in Columbus, It's not in Columbus. It's like 20, 30 minutes north of the city in the suburbs, but it's still a real good mall, and I like going there. Blue Jackets store, and there's a really good sports store there too. That's a lot of good Ohio sports stuff there. Kind of, it's not a rally house, but it's kind of like a rally house. There's Blue Jacket stuff there, and Reds and Bengals, and it's got the Cleveland teams there and whatnot, and just a real good Ohio sports store. But yeah, so Charlie Coyle is June 20th, Charlie Coyle at Polaris Mall. If you want an autograph, you check that out. But anyways, on to the Jack Greaves report card. I am going to give Jack Greaves a 9 out of 10. Why a 9 out of 10? Because I really want to give Jack Greaves a 10 out of 10 because he was really that good this season, but I can't. It's a minor nitpick. A very, very, very small minor nitpick, but it's a minor nitpick, which is this is something that Jack Greaves is going to have to figure out a way around because Jack Greaves, he's 6 foot. That's big. But when goalies in today's world are like 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", even like 6'6", that makes a difference. And a goalie like Jack Greaves, because in today's world, he's not as big as other goalies, that means he gets beat up high. And, it's one thing if it happens a goal or two or whatnot. But the thing is it's becoming a noticeable trend. Because when you look at the goal that Canada gave up to lose in the bronze medal at the Worlds, what did Norway do? They shot high on Jet Greaves. And then when you watch Blue Jackets games, it's gotten so obvious to the point that Jody Shelley and Steve Mears during the game are saying, are they shooting high on Jet Greaves? Teams are starting to pick up on this, that if you shoot high on Jet Greaves, you can get goals. The Blue Jackets lost a game against Detroit in overtime this season. Detroit has the puck, they're in the offensive zone, shoot high. They scored, they won the game. Now, that's not the only reason they won the game. There are other contributing factors that led to that. But when you see that, yeah. Or I remember when the Blue Jackets, they played the Rangers this season, they beat them 6-3. And at least two of those goals that the Rangers scored was up high. And it keeps, so like, this is a pattern now. And this is something I wonder about, and I kind of worry about that, like when in the event that the Blue Jackets make the playoffs, that teams, they scout each other and they look, okay, this is what they're bad at. This is what they're good at. We can expose them here, but we got to be careful there, because if we don't, they're going to hurt us in this position. It could be a matchup issue where you don't have a good power play, or your penalty kill is bad, or you struggle to score goals, or your defense isn't as good compared to the other team. Your goaltender lets in a goal or two that he shouldn't, but he does anyways, little stuff like that. And the thing that if I'm playing the Blue Jackets, if I'm in a playoff series, the one thing that and teams have already done this, but it's something that could absolutely screw the Blue Jackets in the series, is that teams are going to look at Jack Greaves and say, you know what, I'm going to shoot high on him because at times he struggles to stop goals up high. And in a tight game, a tight series, something like that could make the difference, where you look back on that like, damn, that was the difference there. And on the flip side of that, there's been things like that when the Blue Jackets knocked out Tampa Bay or in Toronto in the playoffs. There were certain things that both Tampa Bay and Toronto were looking at like, man, that really made the difference there, because the two good teams are evenly matched, and one or two things made the difference. For, Tampa Bay they struggled with physicality, and they got shut down by the Blue Jackets' really good defense. So they trying to find a way around that next time. Similar thing with Toronto and whatnot. That Jack Greaves with that shooting up high, that could be an issue in a playoff series. So like, not a goalie coach or anything. So I'm not exactly sure how you fix that, but Jack Greaves is going to have to find a way around that, because it's getting to a point to where teams are picking up on it and they are exposing him for it. Where the Blue Jackets get scored and you look at the replay as, up high. They shot up high. It's like, I don't know how you fix that, but he's going to have to figure out a way around that. Much like how you're a smaller player, like a Johnny Gaudreau, a Cam Atkinson, or like an Artemi Panarin, and knowing that you're a smaller guy, so you're at a disadvantage, that you have to find a way around that. And they did. It's like, that's just something with Jack Greaves. He's just going to have to figure out a way around, the whole give up goals up high thing. Because other than that, there's nothing bad or nitpicky that you can say about Jack Greaves, because he has just been that good, that awesome for the Blue Jackets. He is just that ridiculously good. And the thing is, he's really young. Dude's like, what, 21, 22 or something like that? 23 maybe? So like, he still has room to grow here. There's still potential for him to be even better than what he already is. And when you see people from the national media talk about the Blue Jackets, the things that always get pointed out that they like, it's a couple of things. They'll usually say something about Zach Werenski. They'll say something about Adam Fantilli. They'll say something about Kirill Marchenko. And then Jack Greaves. They really like Jack Greaves. Man, he's a good goalie. Looks like the Blue Jackets have something there. There are so many games this season that the Blue Jackets won because of Jack Greaves, where he just had a really good game and they won because of more. They just took over, where he just took over the game. And no matter how hard you tried, you were not going to score on him. And maybe the Blue Jackets defense wasn't having a good night. Maybe the offense wasn't having a good night. But for that particular game, it didn't matter because Jet Greaves had a good game. And the Blue Jackets won because of that. Or Jet Greaves, because this happened this season too, where, the Blue Jackets, they aren't playing very good, but Jet Greaves makes a big save or two to keep the Blue Jackets in the game. And then that allows the Blue Jackets to get going. And then, boom, they score a quick goal or two, and then they're on their game. And then one goal turns into two, that turns into three, and so on and so forth. And then you look back at that game, like, man, the Blue Jackets played a good game. And you look back and say, well, a big reason for that is, you know what? Jet Greaves made big saves to keep the Blue Jackets in the game, and that allowed the Blue Jackets to get their feet under them and get going in the game. And then they scored a big goal or two, and then they built the momentum off of that, and then they never looked back. They took over the game. So honestly, it's a 9 out of 10 because Jet Greaves, you were just that good. You were that good. Ridiculously good. So fun to watch. And now your future is bright, and how do you build on that? I'm excited to see how do you build on that for not only the next season, but and beyond. Just a really good goalie that looks like the Blue Jackets have something here. So 9 out of 10. Nicely done, Jet Greaves.
Yeah. Of course, as soon as it's my turn to speak, I feel like I have to yawn. Hold on.
Bingo card.
The second it's my turn to speak, I have to yawn every fucking time. So you know how I am. If you guys watch the show regularly at all, one, you know that I do have a slight speech impediment, but two, you would know I'm gonna throw a bunch of stats out at you. This season was huge for Jet Greaves. This was the season that he needed to come out and needed to show off what he can do. Because prior to the 2025 to 2026 season, Jet Greaves had only played 21 NHL games. Obviously, he came up from the Cleveland Monsters. He had some experience doing that. He's 24 years old. He played his very first NHL game in the 2022-23 season. It was one single game. It was 3 goals against. But that was 49 shots against him. Okay, so first game out, you're getting the Blue Jackets treatment. You're gonna let him shoot 50 fucking times on you. But he did great. I don't know if they did not win that one. So next season, 23-24, he was 22 years old. He played 9 games that season. Probably, I think, mostly due to Elvis being out sick or injury or whatever. So he started 8 of those. He had 3 wins and 6 losses, 30 goals against, save percentage of .908, with an average goals against 3.49. So that's rough. Last season saw that stat improve a little bit, and he played 11 games. That was a slightly bigger sample size, so we got to see Jet Greaves a little bit more here and there. 11 games played. 11 of those started, so he didn't sub in at any time. He did get taken out, I think, a few times. So he was 7-2. 7-2-2, technically. So he did not get taken out any games. But 938 save percentage. Showing up big, doing great things. And then we continue on to this season. So 21 games played in the NHL prior to this season. This season, he had 55 games played. Started 53 of those. That means he was subbed in a few extra times. Just to compare that to Elvis, Elvis had 30 games played this season, 29 starts, subbed in once, 14 wins, 11 losses. Jet Greaves, 55 games played, 53 started, 26 wins, 19 losses. I forgot 3 ties / overtimes for Merzlikins. 9 ties / overtimes for Jet Greaves. He came in this season at a .908 save percentage with an average goals against of 2.6. He played a hell of a ton of minutes out there. Obviously, he's out there the entire time. So there's a quick breakdown of some of his stats. So he's trending in the right direction. This was his first, I'm going to say like full season. And he's playing over 50 games. That's a full season. If you play anywhere near 30, I think that you're a full-time goaltender. That's it. Like you're not like it's like a sub in or something like that. Which is why I kind of look at this as still a tandem, not exactly a 1-2. But if you're gonna ask me right this second who the 1-2 is, I'm gonna get into that because I actually don't know. You might think I'm crazy, like, oh yeah, it's Chuck Greaves, obviously. We'll talk about it. So overall, great year from Jet Greaves. You really couldn't, it says similar point shares. That doesn't count yet. He hasn't been in the league long enough. Whoops. Mic check. Mike's doing good.
Yes.
Cool. I just bumped it. So, yeah, 9 out of 10. I'm gonna give him in like an 8.78 out of 10. Sounds ridiculous, but just to be contrarian a little bit, I'm not gonna rip on Jet here in the slightest. I think that he did great. 61.9% on the shootout, which is 21 attempts. So 8 made, 13 missed. Doesn't mean he blocked all of them, but does mean that he did block some of them. So that was one thing this season. If the Blue Jackets got into a shootout, we knew two things up until close to the end. We knew that Kirill Marchenko is going to score and Jet Greaves is going to block some of them.
Elvis Merzlikins was top tier too. He has not lost a shootout in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So,
He was slightly better percentage, 62.5%, but he had 8 attempts of 3 made, 5 missed. So I think he won 2 different shootouts this season too.
yeah. So, yeah, you're not beating the Blue Jackets in the last 2 seasons. Generally speaking, you're not beating the Blue Jackets in the shootout. Generally speaking, because it's just Jet Greaves shuts you down, Elvis Merzlikins shuts you down, and then they get a big goal from Kirill Marchenko or Charlie Coyle or Kent Johnson.
And that one time Zach Werenski, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That was sick. So there's a little bit of rundown on Jet Greaves stats for this year. It's hard to compare to last year just due to only having played 11 games. The trajectory is on its way upwards, although with goaltenders, it could be random. You could have your best season followed by your worst season. Some of it's going to depend on who's in front of you, defensive wise. Some of it's going to depend on who your coaching is and how their defensive structure is set up, who your goaltending coach is, who other teams' video coaches are, and how well they focus on you, the goaltender, in your habits. And we've said it a million times. Kevin was just saying it earlier. The book is out on Jet Greaves. People know. With Columbus goaltending in general, the glove side's weak. It's weak. That's the Elvis Merzlikins. Yeah. And so high glove side, all you have to train one shot for the Blue Jackets, and that is
shoot
upper
high.
right corner.
Shoot high. Shoot high.
Yep. Otherwise, there's really that's it. If you want to beat the Blue Jackets, aim high and to the right.
Well, the glove side thing that's more of an Elvis Merzlikins thing. Jet Greaves is more of just shoot high in general.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like that's so like with the glove side thing, like you only need to train one area for to play the Blue Jackets. You don't know who's going to be the goaltender that night. So it's if you want to train ahead, like upper 90 on the right, dude. It's ridiculous. So that's we're just gonna harp on it, and we're gonna see it again, and we're gonna see it again, and we're gonna see it again,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
probably we'll see it again. And by that point, we're all gonna be screaming internally. But here's the thing:
Hmm.
can the rest of his game, can the rest of his play make up for that?
Sure, but
Possibly.
yeah.
Very possibly, because I mean, we saw. So this is what I didn't want to talk about earlier because I was going to ruin it for now. Jet Greaves at Worlds. So for those of you who weren't paying much attention to IIHF World Championship, I don't blame you. One, but two, Jet Greaves was the #1 goaltender for Canada, I believe.
Hmm.
I think he had
Yep.
more games than Cam Talbot. Cam Talbot was the #2 goaltender, which, pretty good goalie in his own right. So if you go to Twitter and you type in Jet Greaves right now and you hit latest, you're gonna find a lot of complaints and a lot of cheering for Jet Greaves due to his appearance in the uh, International Ice Hockey Federation Championship tournament. And this is because when they played the United States 4-0, he shut them out, 34 saves and 34 shots. Fantastic. You literally can't get better than that. You can't. That's every shot. And then they come up against Finland. Was it Finland?
Hmm.
Reopen my. Yeah, it was Finland. And that's when some of the cracks started to appear. One of the big goals in that Finland game was right over his left shoulder, up high.
Up high.
Yep. And so there's a lot of complaints online about him for letting in these. Someone called it a muffin. For letting in some shots that maybe he should have or could have had. What if he was maybe 6'3"?
Yeah, but he's not.
Because he's too low too soon. If he were bigger, it wouldn't matter as much.
Right.
But if
Right.
he doesn't go too low sooner, he's getting 5-hold because
Yeah.
he's got to stand up a little bit more. So, like, it's this really weird, like, uh,
What do you do?
it's possible. It is possible for someone to grow. It's not like you can be done growing forever at the age of 24, but it's pretty likely that you've already like hit that like second growth spurt, so to speak. You see guys like football players, for example. They're pretty big in college, but give them a few years and they're bulked way up for the NFL. You have to be a big guy. You're gonna get injured if you're not.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of, I mean, it's possible. It's super unlikely, incredibly unlikely. So then the other complaints then come from the game against Norway, which was Canada was competing for third place with that. Norway ended up winning 3-2 in overtime. The overtime goal that was let in was kind of rough too. So he went for that shutout, 34 saved, to then getting beat on some, maybe some that he should have had. At the same time, Canada's offense could have ended that overtime just as easily as Norway's did. Norway had, man, I don't even really want to talk about this tournament much because it's like it's going to sound rude of me to say it, but like it's just kind of irrelevant, except for the fact that we get to see like some of their play and like how it stacks up. Because Canada and the U.S. Oof. I feel like other teams got to send more of their best players, and the U.S. and Canada got to send who would go. So really tough year this year. The United States ended up finishing like 8th or something like that overall. Canada finished 4th. Anyway, Jack Greaves. So it's not just on a NHL level. I mean, at this point, it's on a national level, international level. Sorry. Shoot high.
Yep, shoot high.
So 9 out of 10. So for this season, I think he did great for that tournament. I was just using that to help highlight part of his grade for this season, part of his oh yeah, I'm doing grades, you're doing numbers. For grades, so A+ being perfect, I'm gonna give him an A-. In order to get an A or an A+ next season, you gotta get to help your team get to the playoffs. It's not on you alone, but there is a lot on you. And because I think he had a fine goals against average and save percentage. Comparing it to the rest of the league, the league's average save percentage has been going down almost 1 point a year for the last like decade. So I think overall he's pretty solid. Just you are the general on the ice, General Greaves, when you are the goalie. So a lot of it's going to come down to him. Anyway, A- Jack Greaves. Help lead the team. Help get them to the playoffs next season. And you'll be having A+ for me.
Again, like I don't know how you do this if there's a way, but it's like you just find a way to cut down on some of those goals you give up high.
Extra pads in your skates or something. I don't know.
It just is. You find a way. Maybe it's possible, maybe it's not, but you find a way around that because everything else I like about you, I do. I really like Jack Greaves. Awesome goalie for the Blue Jackets. It's just, can you find a way around the one thing that is a weakness and could be used against you a lot, which is you give up goals up high. So if you find a way around that, you're 10 out of 10 in my opinion. That's just me, but awesome goalie for the Blue Jackets.
So on a side note, there's some news that broke just before that we were going to start this podcast. And this is, we already had this chosen out. The fact that this happened today, it was just purely great coincidence. Jack Greaves is the fan MVP for the Blue Jackets this year. So that was voted in by you guys. If you voted, this was voted in by the fifth line. This is the fan MVP, and that's Jack Greaves. So that's great to see. It's great to see him having the support, out there. I hope that fans can show the same amount of support for the other goaltender as well.
Yeah, they won't. Well, most of, let's be honest, I'm going to call it out because we got to be honest here. Most of people, they got this weird hatred of Elvis Merzlikins. It's like Elvis Merzlikins derangement syndrome, where they let it hit their hatred of him get in their way. And it does not matter if he does anything good. Like, Elvis sucks. He's this or that. And it's like, yeah, I know. Elvis Merzlikins at times in his career with the Blue Jackets has not been very good. You don't have to tell me that. I know that. I understand that. But I also know that Elvis Merzlikins is average at best, and he will have games where he's really good, where the Blue Jackets have games where he makes big saves to keep the Blue Jackets in the game, and they win that game in part because of him. There are games that the Blue Jackets win because of Elvis Merzlikins. There are games that they win because Elvis Merzlikins takes over the game, and they win. Most importantly, in more recent time, the last 2 seasons, Elvis Merzlikins is 7-0 in the shootout. I'll say that again. Elvis Merzlikins in the last 2 seasons is 7-0. Ridiculously good. You do not beat Elvis Merzlikins in the shootout. For whatever reason, Elvis Merzlikins basically turns into like God mode for shootout, where he's just ridiculously good and you can't beat him. Like that, I don't understand why it's like that, but it's just awesome to see that for whatever reason, when it gets to the shootout, Elvis Merzlikins is just ridiculously good in the shootout. So I'm doing something that most Blue Jackets fans are not able to do, which is do a little give and a little take. Yes, Elvis Merzlikins at times is not very good. He lets in a goal or two that he shouldn't, but he does it anyway. There have been games that the Blue Jackets have lost in part because of Elvis Merzlikins, but I'm also going to call out when he does good, and it does happen from time to time, where Elvis Merzlikins has a real good game and the Blue Jackets win because of Elvis Merzlikins. He makes a big save or two to keep the Blue Jackets in the game, and the Blue Jackets win because of that. Like I just said, Elvis Merzlikins 7-0 in the shootout, ridiculously good. When it's him, the Blue Jackets don't lose in the shootout. So I'm just going to throw that one out there, that most Blue Jackets fans are letting their hatred, their criticisms of Elvis Merzlikins get in their way and are not able to say anything positive about that when there is positive stuff out there. And that's just the truth. You know, for some people, I've seen this on Twitter, their disdain for Elvis Merzlikins is so bad that, you know, when Jet Greaves has, and you know, this happened this season where Jet Greaves, you know, played like 10 games in a row, and then, you know what? Okay, well, you know what? We need to give Jet Greaves a break for a game. And they play Elvis Merzlikins, and they're like, Elvis Merzlikins sucks. Why are they playing him? They should play Jet Greaves. And it's like, dude, no, you can't do that. You're going to tire Jet Greaves out. You can't do that. You need to keep Jet Greaves fresh. We need Jet Greaves. And so, yes, that means Elvis Merzlikins is going to play a game or two. And quite honestly, we need both. We need Jet Greaves and Elvis Merzlikins. They've been shown that can be both good goalies. They've won games for the Blue Jackets. So, some of you people out there, you got to knock it off when Elvis Merzlikins gets a start, because if it was up to some of you people out there, you'd be playing Jet Greaves every game, and by the end of the season, you'd tire him out, and then we couldn't use him. It's kind of like a bullpen in baseball. That's how I've thought about it, where it's like bullpen in baseball. You got to be careful on how you use it. You can't use it too much, because by the end of the season, if you come to a point to where you need the bullpen, it's like you're up a run or two late in the season, it's like the bottom of the ninth, and you need your bullpen, you need a big out to win the game, and you can't do it because, well, you tired out your bullpen. And if you do use your bullpen, they're not as fresh, and then they give up. The bullpen blows the lead, throws a bad pitch, and then instead of being up 1 or 2 runs, bullpen blows it and you lose. That's how important it is. It's kind of, in my opinion, similar thing with the goalie rotation. You can't just keep playing the same guy again and again and again. You're going to have to give that guy a break every now and again. So that's just that. So I'm just kind of on a little rant here, but it's like some of you people out there got to knock it off with the Elvis Merzlikins hate, because it's ridiculously stupid. Yes, you know, he's average at best. Sometimes he's not very good, but sometimes he is. And when he is, he's really good, and he takes over the game. The Blue Jackets win games because of him, makes big saves to keep the Blue Jackets in the game. And one more time, the last 2 seasons, Elvis Merzlikins is 7-0 in the shootout. So the last 2 seasons when Elvis Merzlikins is playing and it gets to the shootout, the Blue Jackets don't lose. You're not beating the Blue Jackets. That's just how it is. So let's have a little consistency here. Sure, call out Elvis Merzlikins when he does bad, but when he does good, you need to call that out too. You just do. And it's the opposite thing where it's like Jet Greaves, you're giving him all the praise in the world, and he deserves it. But yes, sometimes he'll have a bad game. He'll let in a bad goal that he shouldn't, and I don't hear nothing from you. Quiet. Crickets. Where are you at? Where are you at? I see you riffing on Elvis Merzlikins when he does something bad. I don't see you right there for Jet Greaves. Where are you at? Need consistency. You can call out both. You can call out the bad and the good.
To clarify that too, it's not like we think that you should be ripping on Jet Greaves at all. It's just like if you're gonna complain about one, why aren't you complaining about the other? So what I'm saying is, like what I would say here is stop complaining, like altogether about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we're not always gonna be happy with their performance, and we can speak out against that. We could, you know, like when Jack didn't do the greatest, let in like a blooper there and in the double IHF, like that shit happens. We're gonna point it out. We're gonna talk about it, but I don't have to sit here and be a dick about it. You know, it's some people kind of it's the internet. It's not really like people aren't really known for going easy on people when they're anonymous on the internet.
There's still.
We had a comment a little while ago.
Yeah.
It says Greaves deserves to get paid from Doomslayer Dave. Thanks for the comment, man.
Well, he'll get there. He'll get
Yeah.
there.
He will. He is a RFA right now, I believe. Right?
Yeah, along with Fantilli, Adam Fantilli.
Fantilli. Oh boy, that's just gonna be a whole other can of worms we can talk about here in the
some other time. We got a whole summer doing shows here, so we got to save some stuff here.
Yeah, a little bit.
But and I will say this: he is gonna get paid. It's just Jack Greaves will get paid. It's just what is it going to be? Is it going to be short-term contract with short-term with small amount of money? Is it going to be small contract with big money? Is it going to be medium-sized contract with a decent amount of money, medium-sized contract with big money, long-term contract with slightly more money spaced out over time in the contract? Or is it going to be big contract with big money? That remains to be seen. That will be determined, but he is going to get paid. How much? That will be determined. And that's all I have to say about that, because, we got to save some stuff for some of these summer shows that we got to do here. Especially when, it hits like August, and that's like the worst month for hockey because there's nothing going on at all, and you got to do the best you can to make a show out of it, which we've done. So, got to do it. Got to save some stuff here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the goalie talk won't ever end for almost any team. Unless you have old reliable there year after year after year. And there's been tons of talk from fans. Let me say it again, from fans, not from verified sources or any sort of journalism type people, about goaltending. It's gonna be a never ending conversation. There's some other like news stuff I'd like to talk about as well. Something we've been talking about for a couple of years now, and that is the promotion of Trent Vogelhuber from the Cleveland Monsters head coach to an assistant coach on the Blue Jackets. We've seen this before. Bednar?
No, he was not an assistant coach for the Blue Jackets.
Wasn't he? He did not make it the full way up the ladder, but he went on somewhere else and did.
He went to Colorado after the Monsters.
Yeah. And so you can see how that could translate to the NHL.
Yeah.
Obviously they won they got pretty far in the playoffs this season and all that good stuff. He did have some NHL coaching and I'm sorry, no, he didn't. Never mind. Anyway, so what do you think about the promotion of Trent Vogelhuber? Because this is a confirmed thing that he is going to be an assistant coach for next season with the intent to train him in to be Rick Bowness replacement, as Rick Bowness is quite old and would like to retire probably.
So, yes. So, look, just a little caveat here, just to throw this one out, that yes, this is official, that yes, this has been confirmed by Aaron Portzline and others in the Columbus media, but the Blue Jackets have not officially said anything about it. So I just want to throw that one out there, that it's going to happen, but, the Blue Jackets haven't said anything about it, but they eventually, they will say something about it. So just want to throw that one out there. So I would imagine that the Blue Jackets right now are in the process of officially getting it done and legal stuff with the contract and, crossing all the I's and dot the T's and making sure everything is ready to go and everything is just correct legally and all that other, sort of stuff before they can announce it and everything goes by the rules and all that sort of stuff. But so there's that. Now, putting that off to the side, I think it's a good move. You look at Trent Vogelhuber. He's been with the Monsters. He's been a good coach for him. His teams have been good. They've made the playoffs. They just made the second round this past season. And not that long ago, the Monsters were in the conference final in Game 7 before getting knocked out. And you look at some of the guys that the Blue Jackets have had over the years. They got developed under him. Jet Greaves was developed under him. Mikhail Putia, when he's had some moments with the Blue Jackets, he looks good. He's developed under him. Luka Del Bel Belouz. Kirill Marchenko spent some time in Cleveland under, Trent Vogelhuber, I do believe. So there's that. So, and there's other guys too that you can name as well. So there's that. And of course, Jared Bednar, he's the Monster coach the Monsters coach that won the Calder Cup in 2016, and he got picked off by Colorado, and the Blue Jackets trying to avoid a situation like that again with Trent Vogelhuber, because Aaron Portzline has talked about this, where he's kind of one of those young up and coming guys in the coaching ranks that could be seen as a guy that eventually gets a coaching spot in the NHL. So Blue Jackets don't want to take that chance. Now, to be fair to the Blue Jackets in regards to Jared Bednar, I think that happened because they had John Tortorella at that time. And you were not, taking away John Tortorella and putting Jared Bednar up there. You're just not. Because at that point in time, Jared Bednar was not a proven NHL coach like he is now. But that's why it did. It's just a bad timing thing for the Blue Jackets. It's like, at that point in time, you had just gotten John Tortorella, a world-class Hall of Fame coach, who would won a Stanley Cup with the Lightning and had good teams with the Rangers and, whatever. Like, you're just not going to give that away. You're just not. So, like, that's why that happened there. But this time it's a similar thing like Hefty Duck said, where it's like, all right, you ease him in, you have him be an assistant coach, and then
really experienced guy.
Yes, you learn from Rick Bowness. And heck, Jared Boll's still there. He's an assistant coach. He has experience, so you can learn from him as well. And you just have a better understanding of what's going on and what it's like to be a coach in the NHL. And then whenever the time comes when Rick Bowness makes the decision to not be the coach for the Blue Jackets anymore, you can have someone like a Trent Vogelhuber jump right in, and he'll be ready to go because he will have that coaching experience and he will have that understanding of what it's like to be in the NHL as a coach. And another thing to consider here is that, next year or two, the Blue Jackets are going to have a lot of these guys, their prospects, that will be coming up through the monsters. What a better guy to understand those prospects and how to talk to those guys, how to play those guys, how to put them in certain situations so that they're using their strengths to their advantage. What better guy to have those, questions and, hey, how do I use this guy? How do I use that guy? How do I talk to this guy so I can get him to understand this is what I want him to do? Trent Vogelhuber knows that because he would have coached a lot of these guys that will be coming up with the Blue Jackets eventually. Whether that be
Blue Jackets right now,
whether that be a Luca Del Bel Belouz, he's expected to be with the Blue Jackets in the next year or two. Mikel Putia, he's going to be with the Blue Jackets full time eventually. Corson Kuhlman's one of their top defenseman prospects, had a really good season with the Monsters. He's going to be with the Blue Jackets eventually. So like, and there's other guys too that will be with the Blue Jackets from the Monsters eventually. What better guy to say, hey, how should I play this guy? How should I use his talents? Is he like a good offensive guy, a good defensive guy, a good guy, a little 200-foot game, do a little bit of offense, defense? Is he a first-line guy, second-line guy, third-line guy, a fourth-line guy? How can I use his skill set to be the most effective, to put him in the best situations? How can I talk to this guy to get him to understand what I want him to do? Because certain guys react to certain things. Sometimes you can talk to a guy just, in a calm manner, in a casual environment. Like, hey, I like your playing, but I need you to do this, this, and this. Okay, I'll do this. And then he goes out and does this. Some guys you can't do that. Some guys don't necessarily respond to that. And for some guys, they respond. The only way they respond to is if you call their ass out and you kind of get in their face and yell at them and like, hey, I need you to do this and this and this and this, and just get their attention that way. And again, I've said it before, but what guy would be perfect for that with all these guys coming up? Trent Vogelhuber, because he knows what these guys are like. He knows, okay, this is how you use this guy. You put him in this guy in this situation. This guy's good on defense. This guy's good on offense. This guy, real good penalty killer. I'd put this guy in the power play. I'd put this guy on the third or fourth line. I would put this guy on the first or second line. I would do this. I would do that. Okay, you can't talk to this guy like this, but you can talk to him like that. You want him to get him to do something. This is how you talk to him. Trent Vogelhuber is perfect for that because a lot of these guys from the Monsters are going to be coming up pretty quickly here in the next year or two. So that's another thing. And Trent Vogelhuber, He's an Ohio guy. He grew up.
I'm gonna bring up some stuff about that here soon too. Yeah.
Trent Vogelhuber is an Ohio guy. He grew up in Ohio. He played in the Blue Jackets youth hockey program. He played for the Monsters, coached for the Monsters. So that's another extra added bonus. He understands Ohio. He knows what that's like, because you get a guy that's not from Ohio. They don't know what that's like. And you come and they have to understand the environment, what it's like being in Ohio, and just how certain things are, and just how you get how, just certain things are different in Ohio compared to other places as well. So that's all I got to say about that. I like a good move, Blue Jackets, and we'll just see how that goes.
I'm going to bring up a little bit more of just for the listeners out there who are not quite as familiar with Trent Vogelhuber and his connections to the Blue Jackets already, besides being the coach of their AHL affiliate. So, way back when, in 2007, Trent Vogelhuber was drafted at number 211 in the seventh round by the Columbus Blue Jackets. That was the 2007 NHL entry draft, mind you. So Trent Vogelhuber is not much older than some players out there. He is 37 years old. He himself had a playing career. Obviously, I said he was drafted. Spent, he was on some traveling teams, it looks like. So he ended up playing 4 years at Miami University of Ohio. So that's a huge deal. That's really close. That's really close by. He was born in Dublin, Ohio. Did I say that already? Born in Dublin, Ohio. So born and raised here. Played for Miami of Ohio. Ended up playing to the AHL a little bit, ECHL a year or so, for Springfield. I'm assuming that was out in Illinois. They played for the Lake Erie Monsters. Before they were Cleveland Monsters, they were the Lake Erie Monsters. And that was in 2015, 2016. So he was actually on the team when they won that cup.
Right.
Crazy. So then he never made it out of the AHL. He was always he went from there to the San Antonio Rampage, and then after that final season with them, he ended up as an assistant coach for the Cleveland Monsters in the 2018-2019 season. Since then, as soon as he was the head coach, he became head coach in 2022-2023. He did not make the playoffs that first year, although they were very close. But the last 3 seasons, they have made the playoffs as the Cleveland Monsters. So he obviously was able to do what it takes to help them to be good. And especially with the AHL teams, you have to you never know when your star player for your AHL team is going to be gone for a game to the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Because if you have a season-ending career for a guy up on the Blue Jackets, I mean, they're not just going to leave Luca Del Belez down there the entire time. They're bringing him up, and they need him. The Monsters could very well use him every night they play. He's fantastic. I think that they're gonna. So that's another thing you brought it up just a little bit ago too, about him coaching these guys who are in the system, who have been up and down through the system. He knows them through and through. He knows these younger guys' games, and with his experience and being not too much older than some of the guys out there, being able to relate the older experienced guys' experience with the younger inexperienced guys' experience, who he knows better.
Yes.
So he's going to be able to all these like moves and everything like that, all the years that the Blue Jackets have been drafting, he is familiar with them through and through. And I believe too that he's well respected and will have the room instantly.
Yeah.
And who better to learn from than Rick Bowness?
Right. Right.
I think this will be a fine.
And,
fine.
Another example, losing a guy at any moment is that happened when he had Denton Mateychuk. So Denton Mateychuk started the season out with the Monsters, playing really good, and then the Blue Jackets called him up, and Denton Matejchuk was just so good with the Blue Jackets that they did not send them back down. And
Right.
like that's another thing that you have to deal with as a coach, as a minor league coach. It's like of a minor league team. It's like you have to figure out a way around that. Okay, what do I do next? And to his credit, he has found he did, and the Monsters continue to be good even after we pull up the Blue Jackets, take away some of your players.
Yeah, that's got to be a challenge as an AHL coach. But to that's just like when injuries happen to your star players and in hockey, it's gonna happen. Um, so yeah, looking forward to that. I got a little bit to talk about with the Stanley Cup playoffs, which I'm gonna relate it to the Blue Jackets. So I don't know if there's anything else that you want to talk about with that.
I got nothing with that. We can do your thing, and then I'll get to the
All right.
hockey jersey concepts.
So there's all sorts of opinions on the internet. Everywhere you look, there's a hot take, there's a cold take, there's medium warm, lukewarm takes. Everywhere you look. Some people have been complaining about Don Waddell, what he's been doing with the Blue Jackets, some contracts he's signed, looking at the Coyle contract. People talking about how he's not doing anything for this franchise. He's blah, blah, this and that. If you doubt me, go to Twitter, type in Don Waddell, and just read what people are saying. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of faith. There's also a lot of doubt in the direction the team's going. One thing I want to bring up is that the Blue Jackets are still kind of in the tail end of the Jarmo Kekalainen era. The majority of the guys who are on the team currently and what?
Jarmo guys.
Jarmo. Yeah. Sorry, I was just making sure my mic wasn't cutting out. And are all signed by Jarmo Kekalainen. So since then, there's been a new GM. He's done quite a few signings and re-signings and contracts, re-upping contracts and all that shit. But this is still a lot of this is still the result of the prospects that were gotten, the draft picks that were gotten by Jarmo through the last decade prior to Don Waddell.
Right.
Now, some key things have changed to make immediate impacts. Obviously, the GM does make an immediate impact by changing up the team a little bit. He made an immediate impact with the coaching changes. The coaches impacted the team, changing those things. The GM's looking for a way to right the ship, so to speak, of the attitudes and the culture in Columbus. So I'm going to liken that real quick to the Carolina Hurricanes and why I think that Don Waddell was what the Blue Jackets needed and will continue to need. While with the Hurricanes, although he never made it to the Stanley Cup Finals as their GM, I don't think anyway. I don't know how far back he went. He did make it to the Eastern Conference Finals several times.
Yep.
And not only was he responsible for 90% of the contracts that are going into the Stanley Cup Final this year with the Hurricanes, he was also, I believe, responsible for Rob Brind'Amour. And most likely much of the other staff that's there. Now, when a GM does change and they got a new GM, I don't think Waddell wasn't fired. I don't think he was just not rehired. Kind of like what they did with Torts,
right?
Where like his contract was up and they're like, yeah,
there was too much. In both instances, there was too much respect between both Carolina and Don Waddell that they didn't want to fire him because that would be seen as disrespectful. And it was the same thing with John Tortorella and the Blue Jackets. It's just they so much respect between the two and what they liked each other that it would be seen as disrespectful if they fired him and they didn't want to do that.
And so, there definitely has been a change in Carolina since Don Waddell has not been there. But just looking at it as the eras of GMs, they're on their tail end of the Don Waddell era. And on that tail end, a year and a half, 2 years later, they're in the Stanley Cup Finals with the foundation that was built by Don Waddell.
Right.
So for the many naysayers that are out there, that's what I have to say about looking forward to the future, is that some of these moves might be mysterious. We might question the length of a contract, like with Coyle. Might question a couple other decisions. I mean, anyone in any position of power should always be questioned and double checked on almost any decision they make, just to make sure it's the right decision. Like, I don't care if it was the right decision. I'm going to look at the what if. It's got to come under scrutiny. Any position of power that anyone's ever in, it's got to be checked and checked and checked, held in check, basically. So that's just my I guess pitch for the next season. I know we're talking, next year. I hate that shit, but we don't have anything else to look forward to. So that's my pitch for this next season. That's my pitch for this next 3 to 5 years. I don't know how long Waddell's contracts are for. Usually GM contracts aren't really out in the open like that.
No.
But, this is what maintains hope. And looking forward to the future. So this Trent Vogelhuber move, I think we've already talked about it before. I think that it was a long time in the works. But, man, you get an Ohio guy in there. You got the hometown guy as the coach. I don't think there's any better fit, especially the hometown guy is doing well. He's done well with Cleveland. I think it was kind of a fluke that they got out of the Calder Cup Finals this year, or the Calder Cup playoffs. They got knocked out, unfortunately, but shit happens. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to talk about Trent Vogelhuber and Don Waddell and the direction this front office is going with everything.
So, all right. On to the next thing I could talk about. I said hockey jersey concepts, but that'll be the next thing after this. I did tease a little fun hockey video, so I'm going to show that fun hockey video. And here we have a clip from one of my street hockey tournaments that I had in June of 2017. So I'm going to play that video. And here we go.
Roll it.
So there you go.
I know, I just saw the hockey guy post a roller hockey video of his recently.
Yeah, he does a lot of that sort of stuff. He'll just pick some like random outdoor, hockey rink sort of thing in Canada. He'll go out there and play a street hockey game with people. But this is June of 2017 when I had a street hockey tournament in Johnsburg, Illinois, at Johnsburg High School.
Hell yeah! So a lot of these people, people that you knew prior, or people that saw in Canada sign up?
No, I knew these people prior. These are family and friends.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That's cool.
Because I had hockey tournaments before this, and they really liked it, so they kept coming back. So I'm having a street hockey tournament on this day. And we're like, oh, okay, so they showed up.
That's fun. That's fun. Growing up, I played quite a lot of like roller hockey and street hockey. I live in the United States. There is an ice rink, ice arena actually not too far from me. In fact, we talked about it on the show because there's a minor league team that plays out of there. It's out of Worcester, Ohio.
Yeah.
But that's still like a 40-minute drive for me.
Yeah.
And even at that, it's money.
Yeah.
It's over an hour drive from where I work at. So like anyway. So roller hockey has a special place in my heart. Have you ever thought about are you planning on doing some more at all?
Yeah, so the last one I had was 2018, and I do want to do another one. I just hasn't been able to do it because I had one in June of 2019, and it didn't happen because it was just really hot.
Yeah. Well, and that was the whole COVID era too. It just makes it harder to do anything.
Well, 2019 there was no coronavirus.
Pre-COVID, yeah.
And
then
so like it was just really hot that summer, and it's like there's okay, that's not happening. And 2020 coronavirus, that was a no. It didn't happen in 2021. Has not happened in 2022 or 2023, 2024, 2025. It's something I would like to get back to. I just haven't been able to do it.
Yeah. Did you say that was your Uncle Doc a ref for this one time? Yeah.
He did it all the time.
Gotcha. It'd be kind of neat if he did like I don't know, Uncle Doc Memorial Tournament or something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Yep. As a matter of that, if I pause the video, that's him right there in the middle in the ref uniform.
I gotcha. Right on.
Because he was a basketball ref in the 90s, and then I started having the street hockey tournaments, and he supported me very much with it. And he would often take me to Total Hockey, which was a hockey store in Schaumburg, Illinois, which was an hour south of me. And he would take me there, and he'd buy me stuff. He didn't have to do that, but he did. He'd get a stick or some balls, a puck, a glove, chest protector, any sort of equipment. He did that, and it was just awesome. And every tournament he showed up to street hockey tournaments dressed up like a ref, just like he did in basketball. And he really got into it, and it was just awesome. And I have thought about that, having a street hockey tournament, and just for Doc and just to remember him. So it'd just be awesome. I have thought about that, but that's my Uncle Doc. There he is right there. He always roughing the street hockey tournament right there, really getting into it. Now, another little tidbit: this tennis court doesn't exist anymore.
Oh yeah,
because because Johnsburg High School got rid of it.
Huh? Is there anything there now?
Yeah, so I think there's like soccer fields there now. I do believe they did something with it. I think I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's soccer fields. But so these tennis courts they don't exist anymore. So there's a little tidbit there. And there's actually multiple tennis courts because there's a little gate right there that you can open up and go into another tennis court. So that's the end of that. So, so that is video for my street hockey tournament. I just wanted to share that. I've shared it on the show before, but wanted to share it again because it's off-season show and not a lot of stuff to talk about. So you got to do something. You got to talk about something to fill up the time. So I figured I'd do that. Anything else to say on that video, Hefty Duck?
No, just pretty neat, man.
All right.
Another one.
Yep. All right. So as we always do, you know what? No, I take that back. We're gonna say that's going to be one of the last things we talk about. So first things first, a little something here. I want to share this. So I'll put this up on the screen. All right. So there are 4 schools in the Big Ten for hockey that have won the Hobey Baker Award, which is the Heisman Trophy for hockey. Those schools are Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan State, and Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
One of those schools is one of those schools had a Blue Jackets player that played for that school. I want to take a guess, Hefty Duck?
Michigan.
Yes, it's Michigan. That would be Adam Fantilli, who won the Hobey Baker in 2023 when he played for Michigan. So that is the Blue Jackets connection in all of this, that the Blue Jackets have a Hobey Baker Award winner, just like, the Blue Jackets have a guy who played at Michigan and won a Hobey Baker, just like Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan State also have, just like Michigan. So wanted to share that the Blue Jackets have a player who won the Hobey Baker. So if you ever want to know what 4 Big Ten schools have won a Hobey Baker Award, now you know. It's Minnesota, it's Wisconsin, Michigan State, and Michigan. And when you're talking about Michigan, you can say, oh, Adam Fantilli. He played at Michigan and now plays for the Blue Jackets. Hobey Baker, Adam Fantilli, plays for the Blue Jackets.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I mean, let's be honest here. That was a pretty easy guess, Michigan.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was a little easier.
Yeah, because, Blue Jackets have little success with the Michigan guys. So I'm not surprised that you guessed correctly by picking Michigan.
It's a shot in the dark.
Anyways, next up, I'm going to show all my some of my favorite jerseys. What are the best hockey jerseys that each Big Ten school has? So we're going to start off. There's Adam Fantilli because Hobey Baker. There you go. Okay, we're starting off with Minnesota. My favorite jersey that the Gophers have is the yellow jersey. I like that yellow jersey. I like that Gopher logo. I like the white stripe outlined in red shoulders outlined with a little white, and then the yellow socks with the red outlined in white. Nice red pants to go with the yellow. I like this. Now, both jerseys they're all good. The red is good, the white is good, but my favorite is the yellow jersey for the Gophers.
Yeah, out of all this one, the 3 jerseys pictured here, yellow Gopher one's my all-time favorite. It reminds me of just like one of those old school cartoons, like like was that Tennessee Tuxedo and Chumley and like Pink Panther and all like
Yeah.
that kind of style.
Yeah.
Then the
Yeah.
maroon one's second. I like the maroon one a lot, and then the
Yeah.
away one's my least favorite. But honestly, they're all actually pretty all right.
Yeah. 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 I agree. I agree. So, and I've seen the red one in person because when I was in Minnesota for a Wild game this past I was in Minnesota, saw the Wild play this past October, and I stopped at a rally house in Minnesota. Just because you know what, Rally
Yeah,
House is a good store.
gotta see
It
her.
really does. Rally House does a good job of like having all the depending on where it is. It really does a good job of having all the local teams there. So I went to a Rally House there, and for the heck of it, for fun. And that Rally House in Minnesota did a real good job of all the Minnesota teams. You know, Twins, Vikings, Timberwolves. It had the Wild and it had the Gophers there, and they were selling the red hockey jersey, and it looked good in person. So it's good, but the yellow's better. You're gonna say something about Rally House?
Oh no, that's just kind of cool being able to get to go to a different one. I mean, the only ones I've been to have been the Ohio ones.
No, I've
So
been.
get to see the other ones.
I've been to. Let's see here. 4 rally houses. I've been to 2 in Ohio, the one that's by Columbus, and then there's one in the Cincinnati area, and then there's one in Arlington Heights, Illinois, suburb of Chicago. That's a good one. Like that one, you know, Chicago sports heavy, but it did a good job with carrying all the Chicago sports teams. And then I was in one in Minnesota, which also good job there. So there's that. Okay, we're now moving on to Penn State. My favorite Penn State jersey is their outdoor game jersey that they wore against Michigan State this season. And it just looks awesome. Just good color contrast between the blue and the white. And I like the striping pattern and the white shoulders with the blue. And I like the striping pattern on the socks. And I like the white pants. And the helmet's cool. And then the goalies wore like an old school looking, vintage looking cream sort of gold sort of thing. So I like this. Overall, good look. This is my favorite Penn State hockey jersey.
I like this one. It's solid blue. I like it. It's very simple. I'm always a big fan of things that are just a little bit more sweet and simple. But do they not have one with the lion on it? Oh, okay. So like
this is their outdoor game jersey for Michigan State.
Gotcha. Now, to be fair, I'm not the biggest fan of their original, like the regular lion logo where it's like looking to the side.
Yeah.
I like the Nittany lion, the one that looks goofy as hell. Have you ever seen that logo?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I really want. Oh, where is it? I thought it was actually I thought they had like a goofy, like cracked out looking one.
It's on the pants. The logo's on the pants.
Yeah, that logo. But there was another one. There was like a weird.
Oh, you're thinking of their mascot.
Yeah, the mascot. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm looking at him right now. That's a weird one. That's y'all could get a new costume. Anyway, out of 10, I'll give this one a good solid 8.5. There's nothing wrong with it. Not even a little bit.
What's your rating on the Minnesota?
That's 9.5 out of 10. That's one of my favorite ones of all time. The only thing that could be slightly better is if it was just not that much yellow. But that's one of their colors. I just don't wear yellow personally a lot.
Well, you kind of have to do the yellow thing when you're called the Golden Gophers.
Yeah.
But that's that. So Penn State. Okay. Wisconsin has 2 jerseys, and basically it's white version of this where it's Wisconsin in red letters and the striping is different. And this one is red jersey with Wisconsin and white letters and this striping. So Wisconsin kind of has like a more classic old school feel with their jerseys. Like, they're not going to be like the Gophers and have a gopher. Well, in this case, they're not going to be like the Gophers and have their mascot on it. So in this case, Wisconsin is the Badgers, and they're not going to have like a badger on the jersey. They're just going to go with a more classic look of Wisconsin on the jersey. So of the two, the red one is the bad one. So this is my favorite Wisconsin jersey for hockey.
Right on. That's pretty solid. Overall, very simple. Reminds me of I think it was Detroit's.
Yeah.
It's very little detail, low key, but the little stitching through the stripes.
Yeah.
I like that. I fuck with that.
And
it's kind of plain. Like I said, I like. Oh, I'm through the sleeves. Check out the elbows. You see that? Is that weird red line through the stripe?
Yeah.
It's random, but I like that. I also do like the laces up around the collar. And in fact, this is an Under Armour jersey. And they put the Under Armour logo. This is for our audio listeners. Right under the X that it's like around the collar and the thing. That fits really well. I honestly did not notice it at first. I'm not entirely sure what the 6 stars on the back of the collar is for, but I like that too. Little details in the big simplistic thing of everything. Also, were this to have numbers on it, it would just look more full. But I'll give this one a good old 8 out of 10. I like this one a lot.
The stars are for the 6 national championships that Wisconsin has won for men's hockey.
How many would the Buckeyes have?
0.
Oh, damn.
Well, the women have 2, but the men have 0.
And, they should just do Buckeye leaves for theirs.
Well, yeah, that could work. But Wisconsin is just historically good at hockey because they have 16 national championships because the women have 9 and the men have 6. And Wisconsin was in the Frozen Four and they were in the national championship game this season. And so, yeah, pretty good. But no, 6 stars because that's how many national championships that Wisconsin has won in men's hockey.
Well, that's kind of neat.
Yeah. So, of course, if we're talking about Ohio State, you have to talk about the Brutus jersey from the women's team, which was featured at the outdoor game at Wrigley Field in Chicago. This jersey is awesome. It is the best Ohio State hockey jersey. Brutus on the hockey jersey is awesome. And normally I'm kind of a stickler about Ohio State stuff, like it needs to be red because that's their color, much like how Blue Jackets stuff needs to be blue. But this is one time where I'll make this exception, where Ohio State having a jersey that's not red as the main color is awesome, is acceptable, is okay, because the black with the red and like the little off-white vintage looking cream sort of thing, just like the Blue Jackets third jersey, and then the O on the collar for Ohio State. But most importantly, the star of the show of this jersey is the Brutus logo on the front of the jersey. It is just awesome. Awesome jersey. It is the best Ohio State hockey jersey.
Yeah, this is by far, I mean, as a longtime Ohio State fan, I mean, obviously we're critical, but that's different than being a fan. Man, I tell you what, this has to be in my top 3 jerseys of all time from any sport. This is sick. I love Brutus, big Brutus fan. So having him on the jersey at all is pretty cool. The only thing that I maybe would do, no, I mean, I kind of like it. It fits the red logo on the white background fits pretty well. I'm a fan anytime that there's a jersey that has like black on it. I like dark jerseys. I wear a lot of black. If you guys watch the show, you'll see week after week, man, I probably got some black on some sort. It's literally just how I am. Then the red, white, and black. Growing up, those were my high school colors, and I know it doesn't really matter too much, but I always thought it was cool. And a lot of things I have nowadays are red, black, or white, just because I like the vibe it gives off. So, 10 out of 10. This is the gold standard for me for jerseys. The way that the elbow stripes match the chest striping, the stripes in the bottom are not weird. Sometimes they put like one weird fat stripe or something like that. The O in the middle of the collar, perfect placement. That putting laces on this would have been cool, but having the O, how to say O there, is pristine. This is my all-time favorite jersey from anyone. This is, like I said, 10. We were just talking about this before the show too. Like, this is when I think of a jersey like that I want. This is the first one that comes to mind.
Yep.
And I like it. I like it a lot. And the fact that it's supporting the best hockey team in Ohio State is pretty cool too.
Well, women's hockey, at least. Can't say that about the men, but oh well. But anyways. All right, so I agree. This is just awesome. On to the next one. Let's see here. Okay, okay. All right, now Michigan State. They had a throwback jersey this season, and it's based off of a jersey that they wore in 1986. And I love this. Why? Because normally Michigan State has, and I'll go back to show it to you. You look at Michigan State's normal logo, it's green, but it's a darker shade of green, and I'm not very fond of that color. I'm just not. It's just there for me. I wish Michigan State would use a different shade of green. That's just me. So when you look at this green, I'm like, man, that's an awesome shade of green. I like that. It's just better compared to what the shade of green that they use. And it stands out, and I like the color contrast between this and the white, and then the Michigan State on the front of the jersey, kind of like, more like old school looking look. I like that green stripe. Just overall, I like this. This is my favorite Michigan State jersey for hockey.
No, they do bring up a good point. Like, I don't mind like the more evergreen of the newer ones, but this feels more 80s. This feels more classic, definitely.
Yeah.
I like this green a lot. I think it'd be kind of neat if the colors were reversed as well, with the green on the inside and the white on the sleeves and whatnot.
Yeah.
But overall, I like this a lot. I'll give it a good old 8 out of 10. I don't have any complaints. I think the striping around the waist is kind of cool. How they did that.
So, no,
I
agree. I agree. So, all right, next up, we're almost done with Big Ten hockey jerseys. We're moving on to Notre Dame. And so, first off, look at that. They're the Fighting Irish, and you have a Fighting Irish with the hockey stick on the main part of the jersey, and it's just awesome. I love this. I love this logo. The striping with like the green and the blue. And then you got a little nice little yellow right there. It's a great jersey, an awesome logo. It just, the pants, the shamrock on the pants, shamrock on the shoulder patch, but I like that logo. It's just that good.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. I like a lot of it. I like how shiny it is. Sorry, I'm sending a text real quick. I'll put that down. So can you go back to the other image?
Yeah, the logo. Look at this. Look at
Yeah,
this
that,
awesome logo.
yeah.
It's just a great
So
logo.
once again, the details here are what sets it off. So many people are aware Notre Dame's like football jerseys are like the gold, like the gold on them. So they
Yeah,
have a little bit of gold here, a little bit of shiny gold.
yeah,
So the striping around the waist. So the detail here, the purple, green, and then at the bottom, there's a Celtic knot. There's Celtic knot work in the purple, the
yeah,
big purple stripe going around the waist, and that's just freaking cool to me.
yeah.
Um, Another Under Armour jersey. Once again, I like the where the logo for Under Armour is. If that was a Nike swoosh or even an Adidas symbol, I would not like it as much because the way that it looks, it just blends in with the laces, kind of. You know, it's got kind of like an X. You know, the U makes the U, and it's the Under Armour symbol, and it looks kind of like laces. So I like this one a lot. This one though, I mean, I gotta give this like an 8.25 out
Yeah,
of 10.
yeah. But like, let's see. But yeah, there's another view of it, like this, and the pants, and just it's just really good. And then you got a gold helmet, like the football team. That's cool. Let's see here. So those are their other hockey jersey. Well, they got a green one too, but you see, like stereo, it's traditional and kind of more old school. So like when you go, this is why you go from that to this. It's awesome. What a big jump, awesome change because it's just that good. That's just great. But anyways, so it just very good, very good. So one last time, there it is. Looks pretty good. All right. As for Michigan, they have 3 jerseys. So Michigan has a blue jersey, a yellow jersey, and a white jersey. And of the jerseys, the white one is the weakest of the 3 because it's okay. It's okay. I think it's okay. Compared, so the yellow one, it's got like Michigan in blue letters outlined in white, and then like the striping is like blue, white, blue. This one of the 2, if I had to pick one, not very fond of the whole Michigan thing because, Ohio State guy, but we're going to be fair. We did every Big Ten school, so we got to be fair. So I'm going to include Michigan in this. I would pick the blue one because you got the M that's yellow and outlined with a little blue and a little white on the blue jersey and the striping. I like the striping, the little yellow with the little white and then a little yellow. That's just me. So there you go. That's your best hockey jersey, Michigan, right there.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, I'm not gonna let my fandom for another team blind me to the fact
No,
that this is pretty solid.
well, this is okay. Matter of fact, you know what?
I like the blue.
Let's see. Let's see if I can find the other jersey just for reference here. Just for reference. Okay, so
Oh, the
see,
white
this
one.
is the
Yeah, the blue
white.
one's pretty nice. Yeah,
Yeah, because
blue
like
one I'll give an 8.5 out of 10.
this one's
Um,
yeah,
the white one I'd have to give like a 6.5 out of 10.
because it's just Michigan with blue letters outlined in yellow. It's just it's a big downgrade when you go from the M to that. If they got the yellow one, we can show off. You know what? I do. We'll pull this off of the screen for a sec. because I actually do I do have that on a different. I have this on a different screen. So okay, so I'll actually pull this up. I'll put this up on the screen. So this is from earlier on in the season. I'll put it up on the screen here. So this is earlier on from the season when Wisconsin was playing Michigan and they smoked them 6-1. But why like there's an awesome jersey matchup. You had Wisconsin in the dark red going up against the yellow Michigan. You had color contrast. So I know it's kind of hard to see, but Michigan's yellow jersey is basically yellow with Michigan blue letters outlined in white, and then you got like red, you got blue, then white, then blue striping. The numbers are blue outlined in white, sort of thing.
Yeah, these are this reminds me of I don't know.
But
comparing this yellow to Minnesota's yellow, this yellow is more like piss yellow, and
yes.
Minnesota's is more like golden yellow.
Yes.
Yeah, the blue is my favorite by a lot.
Yeah.
Not quite a lot.
You see what I mean? That the white is the weakest of the jersey set that they have. Like, and then the yellow's okay. The yellow's okay.
Yellow's slightly better than the white one. Yeah, for sure.
It is better than the white one. Yeah, but if you had to pick, it's the blue one. That's if you had to pick, it would be. If you had to pick, it would be the blue jersey. But anyways, so. Also, another common thing I'd like to throw out there is that a common theme is that Michigan and Minnesota had the best hockey jersey matchups all season for hockey, because when they played Wisconsin, they did red versus yellow. That looked awesome. When Ohio State played Michigan, they did red versus yellow, and that looked awesome. They played Michigan State, and Michigan State had green versus yellow, so that was cool. And then Minnesota, they had like some of the best hockey. Oh, and Penn State had blue versus yellow. That was cool. But Minnesota, they had, when they wore their yellow jersey, Wisconsin versus Minnesota, blue versus yellow. That was good. Minnesota versus Ohio State, red. I'm sorry. Wisconsin versus Minnesota was red versus yellow. And then you had Ohio State versus Minnesota, red versus yellow. Michigan State was green versus yellow. That was good. And then Penn State versus Minnesota, blue versus yellow. It was good. Like Michigan and Minnesota had the best hockey jersey matchups for Big Ten this season.
Yeah.
Like honestly, if Wisconsin plays Michigan, I'm having them doing this every game. Red versus yellow. And it's the same thing with Ohio State. You play, it's red versus yellow. And it looks really good. So there's that. Now, last couple of things, we do have some, we did talk about some Big Ten hockey jerseys, but we have some hockey jersey concepts for the Blue Jackets to talk about, like we do on every show. So starting off, we have this one from, let's see, Brandon Manzione. So he essentially really went with the whole Blue Jackets Civil War theme, because it's a blue jersey with the Union soldier as the main logo, and you got cannon shoulder patches, and you got chevrons on the sleeves. And overall, I like this.
Yeah, I like this a lot, actually. It's just something different. You don't see it every day. Once again, it's another thing that like really plays towards like what is a blue jacket.
Yeah.
When you say the it's kind of like, what's a Canuck? You have to explain it to somebody. Vancouver Canucks. Why is there a whale on their jersey? When they have the Johnny Canuck jerseys, you look at that and so you're like, what's a Canuck? And you can be like, oh, this is Johnny Canuck. It means it's just comes from a word meaning like inhabitants or something. I'm pretty sure. Is that Canadians? Anyway, whatever. The point is, you can look at this big. Oh, this guy's a Blue Jacket. Well, what is that? Oh, a soldier of the Union Army in the Civil War. You know, the winners.
That's right.
And so I like what this is getting at. I really do. It's easier to like when you look at the jersey now. It's like, what is the Blue Jackets? Oh, it's an Ohio flag with a star. And I'm pretty sure 90% of the people don't even realize that it's a C. Because whenever I see like those logo rating things, and it'll be like, or like groupings, it's like logos that are just a big letter, and the Blue Jackets are not part of that. People don't know it's a C. I didn't know it was a C for like, I don't know, probably 6 years.
But it is.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just I didn't really think about it. Once I was told that, I can't unsee it.
Yeah.
But like, I still don't like from the logo. It's like, what is that? But from this guy, it's like, oh, this guy looks kind of like a soldier. What is he? Is he playing polo with the hat? What's going on here? And then you see the Blue Jackets. You see the striping. You see the military insignia style patches, and you're like, oh, it must be a soldier. Okay, so a Blue Jacket of some sort is a soldier. And then from there, you can like assume what it is, because it's like, you know, like the Boston Bruins is a hard one for me too. It's like, what's a Bruin? Right? You look at their logo and it's like a fucking ship wheel or something, right? I don't know what that is. But when they have the bear logo, I'm like, okay, well, I can see like the relation here, I guess. You know, I don't know. I think it helps to like describe the team to the average person. And in America, I think the average person is not well versed. I 100% believe the average, I'm talking like right dead middle, American cannot name more than like 4 or 5 NHL teams.
Right.
I'm pretty convinced of that. And so just having this could help steer them, guide them towards the answer of like, what is the Blue Jacket? So you can stop trying to have to explain it every 5 minutes to someone new.
So let's see. Is that it? Anything? Oh, so he gave it. So Brandon gave a description. The Columbus Blue Jackets are named for the soldiers who fought for the North in the American Civil War. Maybe they should start looking like it. Brandon Manzanoni, I think, designed this brilliant logo with a pair of sharp sweaters. What do you think? Time to ditch the flag wrap star.
See, they don't even realize it's a C wrapping the flag.
I know.
Wrapping the star.
But it's a C. A lot of people, once you tell them it's a C and you tell them it's based off an Ohio cavalry unit flag used in the Civil War by the Union Army, they love it and they think of the logo more highly once you tell them that. But well, it got good views. You know, it 878 votes and 4 stars out of 5. So that's good.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. I like it. Yeah, out of 10, I'll give this one a pretty solid 9 out of 10. I like it a lot. I'm actually about as big of a fan of the blue one as I am the home one. Yeah. I'm sorry, the away one as the home one.
Yeah. So let's see here. So okay, next up, continuing with the Civil War theme. This is from A.V. Stein. So we basically have a kind of old school looking Civil War style jersey. It is reminiscent of if the Blue Jackets ever got an outdoor game again, they'd probably get something like this. So you have a C, and it's Columbus Blue Jackets in the C, and you have the state of Ohio with a cannon in it, and then the numbers on the sleeves are in the state of Ohio. Nice little touch of the red sleeves, and the collar's a little red with a little white. So white numbers and blue pants. You know, overall, I like this. This is a pretty cool look.
I like this one a lot. You know, the touches of red aren't bad.
Yeah.
It's a little more red than on the OG.
Yeah.
Or the current sweaters, but
Yeah.
it's not too much to where it's like distracting from it.
Yeah.
I like the Ohio patches. Of course, I love that it's a Foligno jersey. My all-time favorite Blue Jackets. The center patch, I'm not 100% convinced on, although it's pretty cool. So it's a C with around Ohio, the shape of Ohio, with a cannon in the middle of Ohio. So it's quite a lot going on here. It's kind of hard to see what it is from far away. Honestly, here, if they would have taken out the shape of Ohio and just made the cannon bigger, I think that would have helped describe, because we already know Columbus is gonna. Most people are aware of where Columbus is at. Like, it's in Ohio, so we don't have to like necessarily put it in like an Ohio thing. But then it has the C for Columbus, which is cool, and then just the cannon in the middle would have been. I hated that motion I just made. The cannon in the middle would have been a little bit cooler. But overall, as a concept, I'll give this one a good old. I'll give this one an 8 out of 10. I like it a lot. It's definitely not my favorite, but oh, I get this. So it's a Cleveland Barons inspired logo. That makes a ton of sense then. So yeah, even still, I'll leave the rating as it is. That doesn't change anything for me.
I mean, it got good views and good votes, so it's 4.5 stars.
Yeah.
So that's good. Anyway, okay, we're moving on to this one. So this, within the last year or so, when we've been doing hockey jersey concepts, this has been a very popular thing to do, which is basically take the outdoor game jersey that the Blue Jackets wore at their outdoor game at Ohio State and make their own version of it. And this is no different. We have found this on Instagram, HDLA, Hockey Designs LA, basically with their take of the Blue Jackets outdoor game jersey. So this one is no chevrons, no silver chevrons. The striping is like white and red. Interesting concept. I like that. Cannon jersey from the outdoor game. And we have red numbers outlined in white. The captain's patch is red outlined in white. Stars on the sleeve. A little silver in the collar with just a touch of red. And then the normal, flag logo is the shoulder patch. So I like this. I think this is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like this one a lot. I mean, obviously it's similar to the outdoor jersey, but I'm a big fan of the stripes around the elbows here, the thin stripes at the bottom. I think that the logo could be a little bit moved down a tiny bit, but the only thing that's making me think that is the C for the captaincy. Otherwise, it would probably just be like normally fine. I like this a lot. I'll give this a 9 out of 10. I would buy this if it dropped for sure.
Let's see here. Oh, and that's the back. So it's white. The name is in white. We got red numbers. Red numbers outlined in white. So there you go.
Pretty cool.
Let's see here. Okay, so on to the next one. This is like third jersey colors with a touch of red on it, and instead of the Canon logo is the main logo, you have the flag logo. So a lighter shade of blue jersey with a touch of red on it, and instead of the Canon as the main logo, it's the shoulder patch, and you have the flag logo on that. and it's white numbers outlined in dark blue. So this is interesting. I like this. Done by A.V. Stein.
Dude, this one's sick. This one's like legitimately sick. I love this one a lot. It's very unique that we don't normally see the lighter blue being used. And if I'm correct, this is the same color blue from the third jerseys. When we were looking at the Pantone, the
True
colors
color.
last week, like I was surprised that the light blue on that was, when isolated, is not as light as I thought it was.
Yes.
So this is so very similar to the last one, except for the red being replaced by like the dark blue. I like this better. So this is, I 100% would be lined up to buy this tomorrow. Definitely 9. I have to give it a little bit more than the last one, which I gave a 9 out of 10. So it's gonna be a 9.2 out of 10. Love it.
And for reference, what Hefty Duck was talking about last week, we talked about True Color, which is a website that basically has just about every color from every sports team. So you name a team, I wonder what color that they use, and you can find that team, and then it will tell you what color it is and all the Pantone and the color codes that you can use to get that color. And what Hefty Duck is saying is that when you look at the third jersey, like I'm wearing, the light blue kind of looks like a little lighter than it actually is.
Yeah.
But then when you actually look up on True Color what the light blue is, it's actually a little darker than than you think it is.
Yeah, pretty surprising.
But there's that. So let's see here. Then there are a couple more here. So again, A.V. Stein did this one, and it's blue, like a really dark shade of blue. It's darker than what the Blue Jackets normally use, but I like the logo. And then you got the cannon shoulder patch, got that old school looking strings on it to make it more look old school. Red stripe, white numbers outlined in red. I like this. Then I really do like the blue shoulders on the white. That I like that. And then blue numbers outlined in red. So I really like the blue here, but I like the blue shoulders on the white, but I really like the blue. So I think these are good.
I like these a lot. It's not too different from what we were just seeing, or even like the ones newer. It's just gonna get a solid 8.5 out of me. But for the away jersey, I'm gonna give that 8.75 because I like it better. With the red pants though, I'm not gonna be a fan of this with the red pants. I'm not. I've never been a fan of the red pants. That's just me, a personal thing. But otherwise, not bad.
I mean, with the blue jersey, the red pants is fine.
Yeah, it's not like the most god awful thing in the world. It's just not.
But but when it's white and your Blue Jackets at night, you need blue pants, which the Blue Jackets have done. But
Yeah.
So let's see here. I think let's see here. So we got that. Do we have anything else here to show? I want to check. Nah, I think so we'll put this one up on the screen. This one is not as good. It's basically, what if you made the Blue Jackets third jersey, took away the light blue and the silver and the cream, and put red on it? And I like that shade of blue, but I just don't like the red on this. It just
No. No, the red on the shoulders is too much.
Yeah.
The other striping would have been fine because it was so similar to the other ones. It would have been fine. The stripe on the shoulder dropped this to like a 6.
Yeah.
Yeesh. Yeah, no. It's funny how like one or two little tweaks can completely change the entire vibe of something.
Yeah. So there's that. So, this is okay. I'm going to quickly check to see if I have any more to share. Yeah, we'll go with this one again, man. I just A.V. Stein. I guess
Yeah,
I
that's
like
a
your.
silly one.
I
Sick.
guess I like your stuff because I keep sharing it. But
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite concept designers so far.
yeah, so we got blue jersey and it's white numbers outlined in red. The striping red with white, and like it's got Ohio, the state of Ohio on it with numbers, and the sleeves and the cannon shoulder patch and the regular flag logo. And I like this shade of dark blue that A.V. Stein used here. The red, I like this, but I don't know. Maybe on the white jersey, it's just a touch, a little too much red for my liking, but overall pretty good. I like the blue.
I like this one a lot. Very similar to the others. A.V. Stein probably, yeah. I mean, I just said it's got to be one of my favorite concept designers so far. Looks kind of like an Olympic jersey, but I'll give it a good old 8 out of 10.
So, I got like two more. I got like two more things to share. We're calling this. Yeah, we're gonna go to. So, I'm calling this one of my favorite goals that I've seen scored in this hockey season. So I gotta put that up on the screen here, because it's just that good. So it's a game between Minnesota and Wisconsin, and Brody Zemer, a player for Minnesota, had this and I'll show it to you on the screen, but it's basically like this awesome between the legs goal that was just ridiculously good. So I am gonna put that up on the screen, and when you see this goal, it's just gonna be like, wow, how did he do that? It is just an awesome goal. It's just gonna leave you like, wow, how did he do that? Because it is just that good of a goal. And he did the goalie dirty, and the goalie just had no chance on this one. It was just that good. Let's see here. I think I have it. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to put this up on the screen. We have Minnesota. We got some Big Ten hockey. Minnesota playing Wisconsin. I'm going to put this up on the screen. So we have Minnesota playing Wisconsin, and look at this awesome between the legs goal here that Minnesota scored. Here we go. And between the legs. Goalie had no chance. He just roasted him. And look at it. The goalie for Wisconsin is just sitting there like, yep, I just gave up that goal. I got owned. Yeah, I'm just going to sit there and think about it. Accept it that I got owned on that play. He cooked my ass. And you'll see on the replay here just what a awesome goal that this was. There we go. Between the legs, and you're done.
So slick. It went 5-hole too, right? Keep
Up,
playing.
up high.
Up
We'll
high?
back.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It
We'll,
just kept skipping every now and then when I would see it.
we'll back this up. We'll back this up. Look. Here we go. Between the legs and up high. You got nothing.
All right. For some reason, the one angle made it look like it was kind of like going between.
But just ridiculously good goal. So, what do you have anything to say about this?
No, just pretty solid.
Yes, here we go. And between the legs. He just cooked the goalie there. Yep, I got cooked. The Wisconsin goalie knows it. He knows that. He knows that he got cooked. And again, awesome jersey matchup. Red versus yellow. Just great. So we got one more time. Here we go. Between the legs. And you have no chance. Just cook the goalie there. Just bam. So
Pretty cool.
good goal. All right. So that I'm gonna check my bookmarks to see if I have anything else to share. If not, we're gonna say our final stuff and get out of here.
I gotta get out of here either way.
So let's see here. Okay. No. No. Okay. I got nothing. So after Duck say your final stuff, I'll say mine, and then we can get out of here.
Yeah, this has been another episode of the Brew Jackets. Once again, like I said at the top of the show, check me out on Instagram at Lance Schrock Tattoos. Check me out on Twitter at Lance_Schrock. Schrock is spelled SCH. There's a C in there. So that's where a lot of people can't figure it out, I guess. But check out my artwork. Come get tattooed. Check us out anywhere you can find podcasts. We are there for our audio and everything. If you want to listen to us, instead of checking out our live stream, or if you are listening to the audio, check out our live stream. We're live every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Sorry, 6 p.m. Central.
That's right.
Got that backwards. And we will be going live all summer. We don't really take too much time off from it because it's just a 1 day a week kind of type of thing anyway. But stay tuned with us for all summer. Next week's gonna be a fun episode. As we have free agency starting July 1st, I think. So we have about a whole month to talk about that coming up here soon, and that's just gonna heat up the closer it gets to that bullshit in the draft and all that too. So thanks y'all for listening or watching. Appreciate you.
Yeah. All right. So, as always, don't forget like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please tell your family. Please tell your friends. Like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would be greatly appreciated. Like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And as always, I have to give a shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc, the best of the best. What a guy. Love seeing you at birthday parties and family get-togethers and holidays like Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, and so much more. Love talking sports with you. Big baseball guy. You love the Cubs. Big hockey guy. You love the Blackhawks. And wish you're still here so I could still talk with you and, get your thoughts on how you think the Cubs are doing this season. You probably wouldn't be very fond of them right now because, they lost 10 in a row. But then at the same time, you probably would be happy with them to a certain extent because the Cubs have also won 10 in a row twice. So explain that one, how you can lose 10 in a row, but also win 10 in a row twice. That's goofy. So you'd probably have mixed feelings on the Cubs right now. but also a big Blackhawks guy. And, like for you to still be here so I could get your thoughts on how you think the Blackhawks season went. I'd tell you my thoughts on how I think the Blue Jackets did. And, I'm a Reds guy, so I'd share my thoughts on how I think the Reds are doing. So, shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc. Wish you're still here so I could talk some hockey with you and baseball and so much more. So, shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc. Thank you for everything.
Rest in peace, Uncle Doc.
All right. Next week's show is, we're going to look that up on my phone here. Next week's show will be Monday, June 8th, 2026, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, live on YouTube and Twitter. Again, one more time, the next show will be Monday, June 8th, 2026, at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Continuing the Player Report Card series. Who's that going to be? You're going to have to watch the show. Stay tuned to find out. So there's that. And last thing for me, don't forget to check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. We do a lot of fun stuff at Union Blue Soldiers. We do marches to cheer on the Blue Jackets. We bring Blue Jackets fans together. That's what Union Blue Soldiers does. Bringing Blue Jackets fans together to cheer on the Blue Jackets. And every Blue Jackets home opener, we have a march to cheer on the Blue Jackets. It's a fun time. Hefty Duck's been there. And so many other Blue Jackets fans have been there. And they have a great time. It's been on TV from like ABC 6 News, Clay Hall, NBC4, Whitney Harding, Adam King from 10 TV has been there. It's been on the scoreboard at Blue Jackets games. The Blue Jackets have done marches with us, because there's Stinger. Stinger's doing some marches with us, and people who throw the T-shirts in the crowd at the game have been with us. So check it out. The next march that Union Blue Soldiers will be doing will be this upcoming October for the Blue Jackets home opener. So check that out. Check that out. Check out the Union Blue Soldiers March. Check it out. It's a fun time to be with your fellow Blue Jackets fans. Next one, this upcoming October 2026 for the Blue Jackets home opener. Check it out. It's a great time to be with your fellow Blue Jackets fans. And again, one last time, check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Follow Union Blue Soldiers on all social media platforms. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. So, that's it for me and Happy Doc. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye now!